Despite their inner caring, empathetic, and nurturing nature, INFJs aren't everyone's cup of tea. With a reluctance to open up about themselves and a deeply imaginative thought process, some people can't quite figure the INFJ out. But how does it get to the point of rubbing people the wrong way? Well, that's exactly what we're going to discuss in today's video. Welcome back, Psycho. Before we start, have you liked and subscribed to our channel? Go ahead and be sure to click the notification bell while you're there so that you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it, starting with number 1, invisible boundaries. INFJs need boundaries to effectively use their empathetic and intuitive function. But they're not exactly great at communicating those boundaries to the people that they affect. In fact, sometimes it's not until the heat of the moment where an INFJ clues in that there are some major boundaries that need to be set. For example, if an INFJ finds themselves in a newfound relationship with someone who likes to show public displays of affection, such as kissing and cuddling in public, instead of communicating that they don't enjoy it, they may just become distant, cold, or obviously uninterested in hopes that they won't have to say it bluntly. This can make it considerably difficult for people closest to the INFJ when it comes to knowing when they're overstepping their invisible boundaries. And if that goes on for long enough, unfortunately the consequences result in the people in an INFJ's life feeling as though they're walking on eggshells, never knowing when one might crunch. Number 2, seemingly silent judgment. With deep observations and endless analysing being two of the INFJ's favourite pastimes, anyone that has been around an INFJ can probably say they've witnessed their analysing tendencies in action. Yet, sometimes it can be taken the wrong way, especially when someone is the main focal point of their observations. In fact, if you don't know an INFJ well enough, this deep analysis can look a lot like silent judgment. The classic INFJ stare, for example, can easily be misunderstood for negative intentions, when in reality being observed by an INFJ should be taken as a compliment, as the INFJ is only drawn to people that they want to know more about. And although most INFJs do have strong opinions on matters, they are also deeply imaginative and open-minded, meaning they always give people the benefit of the doubt before making any judgments. Number 3, quiet and mysterious demeanour. Similar to their misunderstood observing tendencies, the INFJ tends to carry themselves with a reserved and mysterious demeanour that can definitely make some people uncomfortable. Although this seemingly peculiar behaviour can ironically be considered one of the INFJ's most attractive qualities, it all depends on who you're asking. For people who try to observe the INFJ themselves, it can be unsettling to know that their surface behaviours don't really prove much insight into who they are as people. Unlike most extroverted types, the INFJ keeps a lot in their inner thoughts and feelings to themselves. They don't need to share their insights to know how interesting they are. And so to avoid misunderstandings, they often linger in the background of social scenarios and keep to themselves. Yet, unfortunately, this can make it seem like they're up to no good, or just really not enjoying the company, which may or may not be true. No judgment here, INFJs. Number 4, they genuinely want to help. You're probably thinking, why would wanting to help make other people uncomfortable? Well, in a world of give and take, most people can't fathom the fact that the INFJs actually get a thrill out of lending a hand. For example, when it comes to careers, INFJs usually opt for something that helps humanity in one way or another, with the money coming in as a secondary reward. Most people would hear that and say, yeah, right. Who would turn down a higher paying job to help humanity? Well, my friends, INFJs would. Yet, to some people, they may think INFJs only claim to want to help others to make them seem like good people, or maybe to win some brownie points in a job interview. In reality, however, this is a quality that INFJs almost don't have the option to overlook. While they can understand the attraction to money, their empathetic nature drives them to need some type of emotional reward that money can't provide. A reward that most people can go without. Number 5. Mood swings. Speaking of walking on eggshells, INFJs are prone to sudden shifts in their frame of mind when under high stress. Although they're usually able to work under pressure, when there's too much expected of them, they can easily fall into their mood-swinging ways. With extroverted sensing in particular, with someone with the INFJ personality type is already feeling burnt out, they can find that their mood is a direct product of their environment. And as a result, this lack of control over their mood and high sensitivity to the surroundings can make them seem extremely conditional and unpredictable to the people around them. They can seem more sensitive to criticism, other people's energies, outer stimuli, and changes of plans than they're used to. To try to cheer an INFJ up in their low times, you can easily expect a very uncharacteristic cold shoulder or a brief reply hinting they want to be left alone. This side of the INFJ, that usually only emerges when they're stressed, can be seriously surprising for people to witness and can definitely rub them the wrong way. Number 6. Overly deep and introspective. In the eyes of an INFJ, the world isn't introspective enough, but to the world, INFJs can sometimes seem to play the role of the guru nobody really asked for. Of course, there are other personality types that actually admire the INFJ's ability to deep dive into the simplest of concepts, yet not everyone is as willing to go as deep as the INFJ likes to take most things, especially when it comes to conspiracies, spirituality, taboo topics, unpopular opinions, controversial and personal matters. Some personality types tend to look at the INFJ's viewpoint as a little woo-woo or even irrelevant. But it's not just that. In fact, deep conversations can be extremely intimidating for certain types of people, making them feel uncomfortable and vulnerable. Well, it's not every day that you're challenged to talk about the ulterior motives of the government or the concept of human beings formed from stars. But those are most likely the types of conversations you'll get when chatting with an INFJ, and some people just don't jive with it. And number 7, wanting to know more about people. So, what was your childhood like? Odd question? Not to the INFJ. Speaking of deep diving into topics, there's nothing an INFJ loves more than getting to know what makes someone tick. Yet, when you're the topic of conversation, there's no doubt it can get a little uncomfortable for some people, especially when considering the fact that INFJs are so reluctant to open up about themselves in the first place. When they're interested in getting to know someone on a deeper level, the conversation can have an underlying interview-like vibe that makes certain people uncomfortable. Of course, INFJs have their way of avoiding coming off as too overbearing or intrusive. But some people don't want to be the center of attention at all. And as a result, some people may think the INFJ is reading them on a level that they don't even quite know themselves, asking questions that they've never even thought of answering. They may question why the INFJ wants to know such things and what benefit they get out of it because of their inability to relate to the INFJ's uncanny interest in humans. Well, that's it for today, Psychos. So if you're an INFJ, have you ever rubbed someone the wrong way? Also, please don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more Psycho videos.